We start, as always, with Coach Boynton, and what a way to end the regular season. Going out to Morgantown, West Virginia without Cade Cunningham and beating a team ranked in the top 10 in the country.
Yeah, it was a heck of a performance by really everybody who played. And we played, again, without ice. And so I was really proud of the effort because it took unbelievable efforts from everybody. You can go down a list of guys who stepped up and played important roles in that victory. None more important than what Avery Anderson did, but I thought Bernard Coomer, Keelan Boone, and May Moncrief were all really, really good for us.
What has been the biggest area of growth in the last month?
I think just confidence. I think the team is confident winning close ball games, knowing how to execute late game situations. And they truly feel like we're playing, what feels like our best basketball at the right time of year. And I think that goes into that confidence because they feel like they've been prepared well and that they've gotten better as the season has gone on.
You've had a 40-point performance from Cade Cunningham in the last basically 8 days of the regular season, a 31-point performance now from Avery Anderson at West Virginia. As far as his growth is concerned, is it reasonable to say that maybe one of the biggest areas of growth for him, perhaps even in the last 6 to 7 weeks, is his ability to drive and finish at the rim?
Yeah, he's an elite finisher. He's probably one of the best layup makers we have. And he's got elite athleticism, which gives him the ability to get by guys, especially in one-on-one situations. The thing that he's grown the most in is the game has slowed down, and he knows how to pick his spots much better than he did a year ago.
Bernard Kuma, you mentioned him a bit earlier. He had 6 points and 10 rebounds in a game where there was a lot of foul trouble. What about his growth? How has he improved the last month or so? I mean, his duty has been spot duty, but it's been a more consistent spot duty as of late.
Yeah, his physical presence for us was huge. Anytime you play against West Virginia and Coach Huggins' team, it's going to be a physical game. They got a lot of big, strong bodies. And one of the most important things you got to do is be able to rebound the ball. And it's always been a point of emphasis for us. And I thought Bernie being prepared for that physical battle, it's the thing you envision when you recruit a kid like that is being able to play in the game like we did on Saturday, knowing that we were going to need bodies. And I thought his effort, his focus, his intensity, and his productivity were all top-notch for us.
Cade Cunningham has been named not only the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, but also the Big 12 Player of the Year as a first-year player with a lot of competition. Maybe as many as 9 Big 12 players will be drafted in the NBA draft. What does that say not only about him, but about your program? Because this may be as loaded a Big 12 draft board as we've seen maybe in the history of the conference.
Well, I think one of the things it says is that our program is relevant again, and that we've stabilized things and we have talent here that's amongst the best in the country. And, I think it also shows the level of respect that Cade has amongst the other coaches in our league, and them recognizing that even as a freshman, he was clearly the best player in this league. I think he's the best player in the country, and I'm glad he's with us because I look forward to coaching him for a few more weeks.
Everyone wants to know, how's he doing?
He's doing well. It was very little swelling in his ankle. The flights didn't help that, the pressure on his foot flying for that long a period of time. So he got stiff on both flights from Waco to Morgantown and then back home. But he's been, getting steady treatment 3 times a day, working with Kevin Blasky, our trainer. And he's been able to get in practice a little bit the last couple of days, and we'll continue to see how he progresses as we head into Kansas City.
It's an interesting, well, I'm not sure if interesting is the word. Bizarre might be a better word. The circumstances for the entire season, and those circumstances carry over into the postseason as far as the COVID situation is concerned. So knowing that, as you learned during the regular season, as everyone learned, this can be very fleeting. And you can have a guy one day and not have him the next. Is the tournament a situation where you're trying to prepare guys with very limited roles to maybe take on bigger roles, it just sort of making sure you have as many guys ready to play as possible? Because you just don't know. You could wake up one morning, a guy tests positive and he's a starter, and you've got to reshuffle your rotation.
No question. I mean, we've talked about this really since the beginning of the season. This year, unlike probably any other that I certainly can remember, where a guy could go from being out of the rotation to being a starter and vice versa. A guy could go from being a starter to not being available for you within a blink of an eye or with one bad result from a test coming back. So we've told everybody we got to have all hands on deck every day. Everybody's got to be focused on the scouting report. Everybody's got to be focused on being able to bring their best whenever their name or number is called. And I think you've seen that from our guys because that message has been preached. Keelan Boone's given us a lot of productivity here recently. And then what we talked about with Bernie, those guys who haven't played a ton consistently here late in the season, but are still prepared when their number is called.
Speaking of guys hopefully coming back, what can you tell us about Isaac Likely?
I feel really good that he's going to be available for us up in Kansas City. He's practiced probably the most consistently here the last 2 days that he has since probably December. So it's a good sign that he's going to be available and at least able to give us some minutes. Now you got to think about his condition and not having played the rhythm of the game and things like that. But I feel good that he's going to be available to play for us.
Okay, this is a really strange question, but I like to think it's a pertinent one. You've played really well without Ice. Now he comes back into the loop. How cautious do you have to be in bringing him back that you don't upset some of the good things you've done because his roles change, team dynamics change? How do you manage that? I mean, it's a good situation, but is it not a little tricky too?
Yeah, there's definitely some there's an art to it because we have played well and we have found some lineups that can produce specifically offensively without him on the court. Now the truth is he's our most reliable defensive player. So there's still a role for him. His leadership and presence on the floor for us, particularly on the defensive end, is something that will certainly be welcome, will be a welcome sight to have back. But we got to think about how we use him and what situations we put him in so that we don't disrupt some of the offensive flow that we've had in some of the games that he hasn't been able to play.
So here we go. For the second time in a week and a half, you're going to play an opponent back-to-back. It was Oklahoma twice in 3 days. Now you're going to face West Virginia this past Saturday and the Mountaineers again on Thursday. How do you see the second time around? How do you think it'll be different?
Well, it's something that we've experienced that maybe gives us an advantage because they haven't done this. And although it was a shorter period of time before, the second time preparing for a team in consecutive games is a bit of a challenge because you're trying to figure out which adjustments you're going to need to be able to make. And one of the things that will create another dynamic is the fact that Cade or Ice didn't play in the last game and that we could potentially have both of them when we play again. So what we got to do again is just focus on how we can be our best, continue to emphasize rebounding as a big deal, and take away the three-point shooting of Taz Sherman and Sean McNeil, which, again, probably was the biggest key, is that they didn't hit a bunch of threes.
We'll take a break, come back. Casey Kendrick and Jim Littell talk Cowgirl basketball after these messages.
For all the ways you love to play, Academy Sports and Outdoors makes it easier than ever to get what you need and have fun out there. Get free shipping on your favorite brands at academy.com or get free curbside or in-store pickup at your Academy store.
Thanks, Dave, and welcome back to the show. Joining us now is Coach Jim Littell, head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. Regular season is over. And finally, after a really long dry spell, the Cowgirls are headed to Kansas City to get ready to take on Oklahoma Bedlam round 3. And Coach, let's go back. It has been a while since we had a chance to talk to you, but let's talk about those 15 days. You were very specific in how you were going to try to continue to motivate, try to keep it to calling it rest rather than rust in what we see you. What have you been able to do over the last couple of weeks to keep your team in game shape?
Well, we finished up on February 24th with Baylor, and we had the bus ride back, and we took that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. You know, I don't usually do that, but I thought our kids, had some tough road trips. We had some nagging little injuries, nothing serious, but I just wanted to get us fully recovered. And then since we've come back, we've worked very hard. We've lengthened our practices since we didn't have a game. We've tried to go a lot more up and down, full court situations, game-like situations. And we've done that through yesterday. We'll go a little bit lighter today. And then when we get to Kansas City, a lot of it will be becoming familiar with the arena and the scout and get ready to play. I know our kids are excited to play. It's been 16 days since they've played, and you know, that's a long time off for a basketball team, but hopefully they'll be pumped up and ready to go.
You know, it's going to be interesting. Kansas City and conference tournaments are all about business anyway. It's all about going up there and surviving and advancing. But Coach, this year it's going to be different. Obviously, with protocols, the time frame between games and tip times, the ability to just leave your hotel room and go wherever you want, and some of those things. Every team's getting a different floor, is my understanding, in the hotel. So talk a little bit about that. How much education do you have to give your team going up there to make sure that nobody does something that maybe they didn't even realize would get them knocked out of having the ability to participate?
You know, we've had a lot of Zoom meetings where we've had coaches and Big Al on that, and there is a lot of protocol for the Big 12. There's more protocol for the NCAA tournament. And, you know, where in the past you'd be able to take your kids out to eat a nice meal, maybe walk around the mall, spend some time, not any of this year, you know, with COVID. And it's going to be more like a business-like approach. Go do your workouts, go back to the hotel, eat, have meetings in your meeting room, and then just pretty much back to your room. So it's a very business-like approach, and I understand what the Big 12 and NCAA is doing, and we're going to do everything we can to follow that protocol.
Let's talk about the opponent, Coach. You know, if this were anyone other than Oklahoma, you might wonder, okay, well, what emphasis do we need to really put in the Big 12 tournament? I know for you personally, you want to go win the thing. You guys finished tied for second, which is phenomenal. A lot of really good things, but there's a chance to improve your seeding. But you have Oklahoma coming up as well, which then also adds a little extra emphasis for your kids to get prepared and to get mentally focused. And so there won't be that need to go, hey, kids, this is Kansas, maybe some team that's in the 8th, 9th spot. This is Oklahoma, and we already know how you feel about this series. So that makes it, I would think, easier getting your kids juiced up and ready to go.
Well, I hope so. We talk about Bedlam all the time and the importance of Bedlam to our program and to our fans. So, you know, we've talked about that. We really don't need to talk about that anymore. It's time for our kids to play. Also along those lines, we have opportunities. We have opportunity to improve our seed. Right now we're an 8 seed, which I don't totally understand, but you know, we have a chance to go take care of business and improve our seed on the floor at the Big 12 tournament.
All right, Coach, finally, let's talk about the opponent. It's a team that you faced back in December 15th, the second time, February 6th. You got 2 wins against Oklahoma. This is an Oklahoma team that's won 6 of their last 10. This is a team that is playing much better as of late, and certainly not a gimme when you get ready to take them on for round 3.
Casey, when they were in here, they really struggled, and I didn't know how they were going to finish up. Give credit to Coach Cole. I believe they've won 6 of their last 8 looking at it. And one of those losses is to Baylor. So they played extremely well during that 8-game stretch. There were wins at West Virginia, over Iowa State, over Texas. So they beat some of the teams in the upper division, and they've played well. It's not altogether bad to play 6 or 7 people. When you get that and you do it over a period of games, you become very familiar with how each other's going to play. And they're playing loose right now. They're playing loose. They're playing confident. They're scoring a lot of points, and we'll need to do a good job on the defensive end and be be very efficient on the offensive end as well.
Cowgirls were ready for round 3 a year ago when everything came to an end, and hopefully this year the round 3 Bedlam and Big 12 tournament play will happen. Coach, congratulations again on finishing second, tied for second in the league. Congratulations on an outstanding season, and best of luck against the Sooners this Friday.
Well, I'm really proud of our kids, being picked 8th, and some writers had them picked 9th, and, it's a valuable lesson for our kids. Don't let people dictate what you're going to do and how you're going to approach things, and really proud of what they accomplished.
It was a fantastic season. It's still going for the Cowgirls on the diamond. The Cowgirls are doing really, really well as well. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go from Zoom to in studio. We'll be talking to Kenny Gayeski as we continue with the OSU Roundup.
Living with joint pain. Take the first step at mercy.net/cowboysortho.
Welcome back to the show, and we're talking about the Diamond Sports now. Let's move to softball. Kenny Gayeski joins us now. Coach, pleasure to have you with us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great weekend, 5-0. You guys had an accumulation of 34 runs and allowed 3. Pretty good weekend.
Yeah, we feel like we made some good improvement. We had a couple games in there where we may not have hit the ball like we wanted to, but overall pitched very, very well. Played great defense, and had some games where we really started to swing our bats well. And really that last game against Tulsa, I felt like our bats were as good as they've been.
And it's interesting because I've talked to you enough to know that the bats is where you have wanted this team to get better. So I'm just curious, again, you score 34 runs. You did a very good job in a lot of timely hitting, a lot of 2-out hits, a lot of 2-out runs scored. But you did leave 30 or so on the bags, 30 plus. Where do you fall on that? Do you look at it and go, no, we got 34 runs, we're fine? Or do you find yourself going, no, we still have to manage that a little better?
Yeah, we didn't score enough runs. I will be very honest with you on that. I just 34 runs over 5 games. I don't know if that's enough for this team. I think we're capable of scoring much more. And I think it's just kind of the ebbs and flows of each year too. I mean, as you go through a year, you're not going to be, on point every single game. The bottom line, we still got to win. We've done that. And now we just got to continue just to be in search of being great and getting better each day. And had a first day of practice yesterday. It was really good. And I can feel like I'm starting to see some great growth. And that's all I want to see out of this team is just continue to get better each day.
Carrie Eberly, co-pitcher of the week, second consecutive week, along with Kelly Maxwell. We saw Logan Simonek this weekend. In the circle, you guys continue to pitch really well. Yeah,
these guys are really good and really work well with Coach John, and it's fun to watch them. I'm almost getting to a point where I'm shocked when we give up a run, we've just pitched very well and very happy with the way that they continue to work and just keep grinding. So I'm very happy with those 3. We've got 4 others that need work too, and that are going to get a chance to get some as the season goes. And it's going to be interesting to see who kind of comes up as that number 4 kid, because I think it's going to take 4 kids to really help us get to where we want to go.
So let's talk about a little bump in the road. Obviously, you guys were supposed to play North Texas midweek, trying to get some things figured out this weekend. And you knew it would happen. Nobody's going to be immune to the COVID situation. Great protocols on campus. You guys have done a fantastic job of staying away from it. And now that it's hit you a little bit, you guys will hit it head on and keep moving forward.
And that's the way we've always done things here, and we've done such a good job throughout our department mitigating this thing. And you know, we had a positive test, and you know, in a perfect world, to be very honest with you, we probably could play tonight, Wednesday night, but I don't think it makes sense for our kids. I don't think it makes sense for the opposing team. We need at least one more test, a good, clean test. Maybe two. You know, the bottom line is I want to be there in June. I don't want to have a big issue now where it just lingers and it doesn't go away. So every team's going to face this. You're going to go through it at some point in time. We've hit it head on. We'll continue that. The beautiful thing is we're going to get a chance to make this game up. It really wasn't canceled. It was just postponed. And then we'll see what the weekend brings. You know what I mean? We'll see if we can go. If we're healthy, we're going to go. I don't care how many kids that we've got. If we've got enough to field a team, we'll go out there and play.
And that'll be the hope for this weekend. Lastly, Coach, home runs started to really show up a little bit this weekend. And if you paid attention during the broadcast, you saw all of a sudden a home run, and then there was a shower. Little water going on. And then second home run, there's two guys throwing water around there, little water shower. What's going on with the water shower?
Well, I think what we have out there in our outfield, we've created organically this really cool environment, and I try to continually send these guys some videos and some cool things that other schools do across the country, and I sent them a video and said, hey, any chance you guys would want to start something like this? And they all responded with challenge accepted, and we'll kind of see where this goes. But I just really thankful for our fans, whether they're our families, whether they're people across the community that just support us. Really thankful that they continue to be out there each day, and we've just got a lot of things going here that are very, very well in all of our sports. And when you get down to Cowgirl Park and you see what's going on there, it's really cool. And I just want our girls to keep putting the pressure on Coach Holder and Chad that this stadium deal, you know, is going to be a reality here soon, and I'm excited about that.
Well, at 18-1, the pressure continues to mount. There's no doubt about it, and a great atmosphere. And I like the way you call it park. Now with the outfield, it kind of is more than Cowgirl Stadium. It is the Cowgirl Park, and that's only going to get better. Coach, best of luck. Hopefully you get to play this weekend. We'll see you back here next week.
Thank you.
With that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about another diamond sport. We'll talk about baseball. Coach Holliday joins us after we take a quick timeout.
We'll make this simple. It's time to go and get rewarded for it. The My Phillips 66 app saves you up to 25 cents per gallon of gas. That's right, up to 25 cents per gallon of gas. That means for every fill-up, you're saving money for your next adventure. That's a reward that keeps on going. The app is safe and easy. Plus, mobile pay offers fewer touch points during payment, so you can focus on going and saving. Download the My Phillips 66 app today so you can save more to go more. Phillips 66. Live to the full.
This one is intercepted.
That's not a towel.
There was a mess. I wiped up a mess.
Yeah, you...
When game day is a go, there's a Bud Light there.
Welcome back to the show, and we turn our attention now to baseball. Coach Josh Holliday joins us. And, Coach, pleasure to have you with us back on the show.
Nice to see you again, Casey.
You know, midweek game against ORU, another fantastic outing. You guys get a big W and put 5 up on the board, and things just continue to progress well for you guys right now.
Well, certainly the game at ORU on Tuesday night, the story of that game was the pitching was just incredible. I believe we struck out 19 guys and only walked 1. We played good defense over in a ballpark that was a tough wind night, tough shadows, and a little bit of a tough night to see. So we handled the elements well. We pitched incredibly good. Had a lot of runners on base and managed to get 5 across and had several more opportunities. So I like the aggression on the mound. Justin Campbell, back-to-back midweek starts now, has been nearly untouchable. and by far one of the most dominant personas on the mound that we've seen in our uniform in quite some time. And I think our pitching staff is really feeding off of each other, whether it's the starting pitching, the aggressive mentality out of the bullpen, and certainly the way Brett Stanley's been closing games. Those things have been fun to watch, and we're picking it up pretty clean, not giving the other team extra outs. And as we continue to swing the bats more and more, we're starting to form a little bit of an identity as a team.
Well, and when you look at this, let's go back to the pitching staff a little bit, Coach. The ERAs are tremendous. I mean, you got a lot of guys getting a lot of work. The ERAs, as you said, whether it's in relief, whether it's starting, whether it's closing, whatever it's been. How close are you guys now to knowing that Friday, Saturday, Sunday rotation? Is that set? Is it still in flux? And how quickly do you need to make the decision when it comes to getting ready for conference play?
Well, we're in a good spot right now with 1 weekend remaining prior to the start of conference play. We're lined up to go into the Vanderbilt Series with Parker, Justin, and Bryce. We have Justin Campbell, who can roll back and be available for the Tech Series if we wish to go that direction. And these midweek games that we're playing in the early going have been very good opponents. So the midweek games, the weekend games, they all kind of fit essentially a week ahead look. And we wanted to pitch each game at a very high level. Now, as you work your way towards Big 12 play, you're going to want to have your best arms in position to put those 3 games together. I know Coach Walton's thought a lot about it, so I like our options. The kids are all healthy. We're getting there pitch count-wise, and we're getting there depth-wise. Where exactly we settle, probably still to be determined, but one thing's for sure, we have good options. And to have the possibility of Justin Campbell on the weekend to go with Bryce, Justin, and Parker could give us that extra reliever that helps you get through 3 very difficult games.
And so, we'll save the batting for the next show. You guys are batting extremely well. You said picking it up cleanly. A lot of really good things. But I want to touch before we run out of time on the Vanderbilt series. Obviously, that is a top-ranked opponent. It is a great program, and it's one that you have a great history and connection to. And I know you're very glad to be able to bring them into this beautiful ballpark.
Yeah, it's going to be a great series. I think when you look at they're ranked anywhere from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, something like that. So they're a team that's recognized across the country as being very talented. They have a couple of elite pitchers to go along with a very talented roster. So it's the kind of challenge you want for your team. It's the kind of excitement you want to bring to your community, to the campus, to the facility, to the fan base. That's an important part of scheduling, and it's an important part of getting your team ready for what lies ahead. So the Vanderbilt series has been something that we wanted to do for a long time. Coach Corbin and I talked about, wouldn't it be fun to do it when the new ballpark opened? And so, yeah, we're excited to welcome a top 1 or 2 opponent to campus. Should be great baseball. The important thing here is a chance to go out and compete and really get ourselves as a team prepared for the type of baseball it's going to take to win the Big 12. And certainly the friendship is always valued. Every night when we get done playing, the first score I check is Vanderbilt to see how they're doing. So I don't think you ever get rid of those connections and friendships. When you leave a program and have a great experience, that's the kind of friendship you want to have.
And so, I end on an odd side note. If we were in Alley P, I'm not sure that we would anticipate maybe having to move a lot of games. It still might have to. But with O'Brate and the drainage, there's a good chance, even with weather, we're going to get to play.
All we need is a window of time. O'Brate Stadium drains exceptionally well, so if the rain will just let up enough to give us 3 or 4 hours to play, we should be good. But we're very grateful for all the new things that we have at the touch of our fingers. Amazing new facility. I think our fans have really enjoyed it to this point, and hopefully this weekend that drainage system will pay dividends.
Hey, Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend. Thank you. All right, with that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be hearing from Dave Smith. He sits down with Jessica. We'll talk a little cross country right after this.
ADM milling is really a part of the fabric of the Enid community. So if we were to have lost them, it would have been more than the 70 jobs that they employ.
OG&E, the City of Enid, and the Enid Regional Development Alliance were all great to work with. Not only does it allow for the growth of the new mill, but also the power is there to make that happen for the future.
Welcome in. I'm Jessica Morey, and I am joined by Oklahoma State head track and field and head cross country coach Dave Smith. Thank you so much for joining me today, Coach Smith.
Yeah, great to be here.
All right, so Monday is a big day for you guys.
Yeah.
You're hosting the NCAA National Championships right here in Stillwater, something that was supposed to happen a year ago, but obviously with COVID, that wasn't the case. But they're here this year. How excited are you for this amazing opportunity?
Absolutely thrilled. This has been kind of a dream of mine, and actually Coach Weiss was the coach before me. We've talked about the possibility of hosting the national championships here in Stillwater for a long time, and getting the course done. Coach Holder did a fantastic job, and we really improved the course and got it to a level that the NCAA recognized it was probably one of the best courses in the country, and got the bid 4 or 5 years ago, and been kind of waiting for this day ever since.
And unfortunately, we've got some weather concerns going in to the races on Monday. A lot of rain expected over the weekend. But as we all know, the course has amazing irrigation.
Yeah.
So how are you kind of handling the weather concerns?
Well, that's cross country. It doesn't matter. It seems like wherever we go, whatever time of the year we run, normally in November, this year in March, we end up with rain. And it's I thought this year was going to be a nice, warm, dry year because we're here in Stillwater, but it looks like we could be a little wet. But our course was designed to handle water, and it drains water very well. It's elevated. The running surface is elevated over the surrounding area a little bit, so water runs off of it. It's got a little tilt to it. So if there's one course in the country that can handle a wet, soggy day, it's probably ours. And so I think it'll be okay.
That's awesome. And this has been a crazy couple of months for you. The seasons are overlapping with the indoor and outdoor track, and then also with men's and women's cross country. How do you kind of handle that with all of it going on at once?
It is a unique year, and it's been challenges all the way along from when we could practice, how we could practice, races getting scheduled and canceled. Like you said, right now, finishing the indoor season and the cross-country season and starting the outdoor season all at the same time. We got kids in 3 seasons at once, which is just absolute chaos. But what I found is that the student athletes are super appreciative. They love having the opportunity to do what they love to do, their sports. And what seems like it might be stressful and difficult for us trying to organize and think about how this is going to affect them hasn't seemed to affect the student athletes here at Oklahoma State, at least. I think we've performed as well this year as we have in any year. Like I said, the athletes are excited. They are eager to get out on the course. We just got back from a Big 12 indoor championships. We're going to the NCAA championships in track tomorrow. We're leaving for that, coming back on Saturday. Then we'll run the national championships in cross country on Monday. But the athletes, they're excited. They're thrilled to be, to have the opportunity to do all 3 sports at once and at least get them underway for the academic year.
Wow, and I thought I was busy, but that is absolutely insane, especially this week going to indoor and then also having the championships here. That's unbelievable. Both of the teams have qualified for the cross-country national championships. What have you seen from the men's and women's teams this year that has really impressed you?
Well, the women's team, starting with the women's team, we came into the year feeling like we had a really good team, but we had some setbacks for our top 2 returners. We're both returning All-Americans, and they didn't run in the fall cross-country season, the traditional part of the season. One of them, Mike Boynton, who is the number 8 returner in the NCAA and kind of our leader, has returned and has just made our team much better. Probably the way we ran in the fall, we would not have been selected. But with her return and our team just, a lot of young athletes kind of developing and kind of following her lead, now all of a sudden we got selected. I think we ran much better in the winter. Really, the development of Taylor Rowe and Gabby Henteman, 2 sophomores who have had incredible years for us, kind of makes our team, I think, a top 10 to 15 team. We're hoping, our kind of goal for the women is to be top 10 at the national championships next Monday. And that's, from where we were in the fall, we've come a long way. And like I said, the women are really excited. And I think they are chomping at the bit to get out there and give it a go.
And what about the men's team?
The men's team, kind of the same thing. We had one of our toughest years of my tenure here last year, where we didn't make the national championships for the first time in 20 years and didn't know what we'd be facing this year coming back with a kind of a whole new roster, a lot of young guys. And all of a sudden, we're right back up there in the title conversation. I think these guys think they can win, and that's pretty powerful. You got to have that belief. That's where it starts, is kind of a dream and a belief that you can do it. And they're excited to run for the title. And we have raced last year's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 teams and beaten 4 of them. And one of them we've beaten twice. So the guys feel like, we've done our work and we've proved where we are. And now we get the opportunity to go out and line it up against the best. And in 30 minutes, it'll all be figured out.
What would it mean to you to see one of or both of your teams win a national title on the home course in Stillwater?
That's the holy grail. I don't think a team has won, at least on the men's side, has won a national championship on their home course since we went to the modern era of qualifying to the national championships in 1972. So to put a team out there to win on their home course and be the first to do that, that would be fantastic for our program. I mean, winning anywhere is great, but winning at home would just be kind of icing on the cake. And I think the guys are excited. Like I said, they feel like they've got a shot. They believe, and we might not be the odds-on favorites. In fact, I don't know if anybody's predicting us to win, but I think our guys have different ideas.
That's awesome. Well, best of luck this weekend with everything, and then of course best of luck on Monday. You can watch all of the races on ESPNU Monday. Coverage gets started at 11:30. That's going to do it for this week's OSU Roundup. Thanks for watching.